Hi
Hi,
Neha.
sir. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Can you see me and hear me clearly?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Am I audible?
Okay. You could be a little louder.
Okay, 1 second. I mean, I'll have to just speak loudly then, I guess. Or I'll come closer.
Otherwise it's fine. Otherwise it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
So
Great.
we'll just wait for Shweta.
Yeah.
But as she joins, how have you been?
Pretty good, sir. I've been doing well physically and golfing wise. Getting
So
better.
injury free?
Yes, 95%.
Okay. Uh, Shweta is also here.
All right.
So you were what now pretty much based in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
Okay. So the young lady is also here.
Hello,
Hi.
what's happening?
Well,
What is it?
Shweta, it seems you've done some sort of a hairdo
Oh no,
because
you're just seeing me for the first time without a cap, probably.
Oh, that's true.
I'm
okay.
not in golfing attire for a change.
So let's get rolling. Question to both of you. International Women's Day, when you wake up in the morning, do you kind of tell yourself something different? Or is it a reaffirmation of what you've been doing, breaking stereotypes?
I'll let Neha answer that first.
No, that's okay. You can go ahead.
No, we take turns. Take turns.
Let's start with
Uh,
the newcomer.
oh, I'm getting
Okay,
tagged on
yes,
Women's
Shweta,
Day.
we are all ears.
No, I think it's fun. It's always fun to be acknowledged, whether it's as a sports person, as a woman. I mean, positive affirmation any day, any time, I'll take it. Like any reason. I think it's always
Well,
fun.
you can't be breaking stereotype by being soft spoken. You have to be loud.
Oh, can you not can you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Little louder.
A little louder than this?
Yes.
Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Like anytime we're celebrating women, I'll take it. Anytime we're celebrating on athletes, I'm happy to be a part of it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, Neha, considering that you're now a seasoned pro on tour, which played for more than a decade, since the time you started off, have
Yeah.
you kind of seen a watering down of stereotypes? One the society normally associates with women athletes, or how do you see the situation over the years
I
changing?
think it's definitely gotten better. Also, with respect to the fact that now, not our tour has grown more in numbers, so you can see that a lot more people are getting into turning pro. Also, with respect to other sports, I think we've been making
Hmm.
huge advancements in like every field. And I think as far as golf is concerned, definitely there are more junior girls that I see, picking up the sport. Um, so yeah, I think it's definitely gotten better. Yeah, I think it's been on a positive. It's been going on a positive note till now.
No, but I mean, for someone like me, who's an outsider, and who's kind of somewhat followed women's golf in the country,
Yeah.
uh, the fact that the pro tour hasn't grown to the extent that probably most of you would have liked it to.
Yeah.
Is it somewhat, linked to the bias or stereotype, whatever cliche you might want to call it? Is
Yeah.
it kind of, linked to that?
I don't think so. I feel that it's to do with also the fact that in the last decade or so that I've been associated with the sport, um, I never saw that many people joining golf per se. It was always the other sports that were much known. So, of course, with respect to that, I think people are definitely changing their thought process. Um, but I won't say that, our tour pro numbers haven't risen as much as we would have wanted. Of course, like when you look at the other tours, the popularity of golf in India as such, and that to women's golf, is not as it is in other countries. So that's why the numbers
Hmm.
haven't grown exponentially. But I feel that in about a decade or so, you know, we will definitely be crossing that 100 margin. I really have that feeling because of the fact that the number of players that are also associating with the fact that WGI is kind of, a stepping stone to go into other countries. So I think with that respect, it's going to grow for sure.
Maybe by that time you'll become tour commissioner.
No,
And
I'll also just go and play outside by then. I'm definitely not becoming the tour commissioner. No way.
okay. So, acha, Shweta,
Yeah,
you've done college in the US. You
right,
played some golf over there also.
right.
If you kind of, compare the situation there, I mean, rather you talk
Hmm.
about perceptions there and here,
Right.
popular perception. What is the difference that that kind of hits you?
I think the main difference there is sport is respected no matter which sport it is, whether you're a man or a woman. You know,
Mm.
it is, you have like any sport you play, it's acknowledged, it's appreciated at any level. You know, you don't have to be a professional to get respect. Um, the governments and everything support you from the start, you know. It's infrastructure. Here,
Mm.
your bodies are kind of working against you. You know, you're fighting your own people. You're kind of
I like
just,
that.
you know, your own people are pulling you down, and I think that's more of a country mindset than anything. You know, if we see someone doing well, we want to, you know, like, why should we help them? We kind of just want to bring them down, and it's all infrastructure and mindset. Like I think other countries are made to promote athletes and help and you know provide the right direction, and over here we are, I mean, we're just dragging them down. We're making it harder and harder. It's anyway tough to be a professional athlete. It's tough to be a sports person, and I feel like as a country we don't make it easier.
Okay. Still, I mean, in our country, it's a
Hmm.
sport is still,
Hmm.
male dominated.
Right.
So, on a day-to-day basis, just talk about, stuff that you've now got used to, being a woman athlete. But
Hmm.
if you were to take it apart, would actually be something which is kind of somewhat of a challenge. I mean, could be anything. You guys would be in a better position to talk about that on a day-to-day basis. Have kind of things gotten better?
I think we're in a pretty small bubble, so it does feel like it's better. But I feel like if you actually think about it, or like it's when you start listening to other people, maybe if you meet new people who don't know much about your life or anything, you'll realize that, okay, like, you know, things haven't gotten better, but at least the people that are around you, you know, you've made a difference to their mindset. At least the 15, 20 people I know now start to respect the sport. So it's small, but I think, you know, at 20 people at a time will bring change. So, I mean, I'm sure we've gotten used to a lot of things. Like somebody walks up to you at the driving range, like, oh, you're probably hitting further than me, even though you're a girl. Or, you know, like, just like, oh shit, you know, like, how can I get beat up? You know, like, how can I be hitting shorter than a girl? You get used to these things, and it's kind of sad, but I mean, it is what it is. But at least those 20, 30 people that have started to respect you, at least they're not, it's not about, oh, it's because you're a girl and I take it bad. They're more proud that like, oh yeah, she's a professional, so yeah, she is going to be beating me.
Neha, we had this chat earlier also. The high attrition rate that you have on tour. You have so many promising amateurs who may not necessarily turn pro.
Yeah.
Uh, or they turn pro and then they kind of walk away. Is this somewhat linked to what we've been discussing?
So maybe. I mean, I really, I think it's to do more with the fact that, like we spoke about, when you just asked me previously that I haven't seen the tour grow as much in number as we would have liked it to, right? Um, when you look at the men's tour and then you look at ours, of course, we are 1/4 the number. So it all boils down to the fact that it's a ratio which has to go that more players join the tour and then the money increases, but we can only attract people if there's money. So I think it's to do with that. Um, Hopefully things will get better in the future. More and more
Oh, of course.
sponsors will come, more and more people will recognize that women's golf in India is also really big. So I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's that's what I feel about it.
Shweta, I believe you also have something to say on this.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to the future of women's golf in India because if you look at the amount of amateurs we have and the competition and the scores, I think one of the biggest examples is Sneha. If you just see she's playing on the amateur circuit and winning, she's playing on a professional. So, and she's not just the only one. I see a lot of young girls coming up, and I really hope our attitude changes and we get better infrastructure because
Yeah.
otherwise, if you feel like the system's not with you, not everybody is gonna keep battling that fight. Not everybody has it in them to keep fighting the institution. So they either want to go out to another country, or they just decide to give up. Again, it boils down to money because if it's kind of like the US women's soccer team, right? They had to fight to get equal pay even though they're winning day in, day out, right? And all of them had to go out in off season and play abroad to make more money, right? And how is that fair? Like how are you supposed to perform 365 days of the year, right? So a lot of women don't see this as their only job, and I feel like that makes it harder because you have to have a supplemental income. So it really boils down to money and attracting more people, like to the root of it, but also simply respect. Like we just gotta respect athletes, and if you do, money will come and the game will grow.
Something which you just mentioned about,
Mm-hmm.
lack of infrastructure. If you look
Mm-hmm.
at that, I guess it's probably the same. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
Neha, both of you. It's probably the same for both lady pros and the men. But when you say lack of infrastructure, what do you mean? I mean, I just want to get an insight into that.
I feel like just okay, so yes, the men do, but they struggle less. I think it's the same in any field you go to. It's not just sports. Like it's like why isn't the women's cricket team as popular? If you just think about it, it's not just about golf. This is like
Everywhere.
it's an Indian-wide issue,
I think
it's a national issue.
it's also to do with acceptance of the fact that women can play sports. So it's just that back in the day when we would go to the golf course, like Shweta was mentioning, how people, still go on and say that, oh, you hit it longer than me. Back in the day when we had probably started, it was more on the lines of, you want to play golf? Like, you know, it wasn't the most welcoming sport. Or even for matter that when a girl gets into the sporting field, not just the family, but also the, peer around. Everyone's thought process is, how are you thinking about playing a sport? So it's just that I feel the mindset has to be more like there needs to be acceptance of that. The mindset needs to change. And then, like things will, we hope for the equal rights in every way. So maybe things will get be appreciated and
No,
shared.
I know where you're coming from. Rashid is among the viewers. I noticed. Say somebody like Rashid, if he
Right.
kind of walks into any golf club outside NCR, and he
Right.
says, I want to practice, chances are he'll be recognized
Yeah.
and he'll have a smooth passage.
Yeah.
I
Whereas
doubt
someone
that.
like you, uh,
I think even knowing who he is, I think even no matter who you are, you walk into any golf club in India, you're not getting to play if it's private.
That's
I
true.
don't think it matters if you're a woman.
uh,
They're still not that open.
I they're
You know,
not
with
that
no, I
open.
feel this problem is more acute in the so-called bigger clubs.
Hmm.
If you kind of go down south, a lot of clubs with a lot of history were good enough for practice. But I guess if you pit a male pro and a lady pro, chances are, that lady will be asked more questions than the guy.
I think in
So,
this, unfortunately, I feel like in this field we'll probably be pretty equal. Unless you're
okay,
like
right.
Milkha Singh or something. I think otherwise, I think purely comparing PGTI to WGI, I think we're pretty equal. Unfortunately, it's a sad thing to be equal in, but like I don't think men pros have that many playing rights either in the country.
Okay.
I like just honestly
I
saying, like
I guess
I
no, no,
doubt
of
it.
course, of course. I guess the only way WGI loses out is the lack of numbers. Uh, till date, if you just see, I think out of 33 or 35 girls who tee off,
Hmm.
maybe 8 or 9 or maybe more than that are amateurs. So
Hmm.
अगर आप देखोगे तो pros, the number of pros is still quite negligible, and that is the problem when you kind of want to grow the sport and you approach a potential sponsor. The first question is, what do I get in return? There are no eyeballs.
Right.
So I guess these things are interlinked, the
Hmm.
lack of numbers, and then again, maybe nobody is going to say it openly, but yeah, because nobody's going to say it openly, but it could also be, especially in a predominantly male society, if a sponsor says, I'm sponsoring, putting my money into women's golf, chances are he'll get laughed at. So that is, I guess that somewhere also is a thing that needs to change the mindset. But Neha, tell me something. I mean, again, both of you on an individual basis,
Yeah.
any standout incident or thing that kind of gave you a lot of happiness, that okay, now as they call it, hashtag break the bias or breaking stereotypes,
Yeah.
anything like that which stands out in your career? Both of you can take turns.
I have to really think about this. Wow. I mean, I think, uh, just the fact that I feel in the last 10 years, the way things have changed for me on the Pro Tour, just meeting new people and, somebody just coming up to you and saying that, oh, you're Neha Tripathi, I've seen you, or I've seen you in paper, or I've read your article, or whatever there might be. Um, it gives a huge boost, and I think it's happened in a bunch of times, but right now nothing's really coming to me, so I've just come back from Paris, so I'm a little tired. But I think it was in from the only incident that I can recall for now is when I was in BPGC, and some kid who had seen me about 6-7 years back, I have absolutely no remembrance of, came up to me. This was last year, saying that, remember, oh, I remember you coming out here and losing to Sharmila in a playoff, but you've also won one of your first or the second events that you played the season in, played in your first half of this career. It was pretty amazing, and I didn't think that somebody would know what I'm doing. So that was actually pretty awesome.
Maybe then another suddenly struck me, Gary Player replying to your tweet.
Oh yeah, oh yes, he did. This was when when I'd shot the 10 under round at ITC, and a bunch of people posted about it, and Gary sir did say that this is one of the most amazing rounds that you would have played. In fact, I also got applauded by Jeev sir when I met him. So it was really good. That felt really good. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about that, sir. That was actually really cool.
Yes, Shweta, what about you?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I think I'm too early in my career to answer this. I haven't.
Doesn't matter. I mean, any remembrance from your amateur days or from your college days, college golf days, anything that kind of comes to mind.
I mean, I just enjoy the fact when I walk up there and play with the boys from the same tee and then beat them. Like, I feel like that's breaking the stereotype every day. That's
Nice.
kind of like an I wouldn't call it an everyday thing because that would sound arrogant, but I meant like whenever that happens, because growing up, any sport I played, I always played with the guys. So, and then showing them their place or like playing as equals has always been, it's been a fun thing. Well, whether it was football or if it was, golf, being treated as an equal and not like, oh, you lost to a girl or you play like a girl. I think that's when you feel like, okay, you are breaking the stereotype.
Yeah, I guess for you it happens maybe on a daily basis because when you train at Golden, there are a bunch of boys who are training with you, and maybe you
Well,
play the toss
now
together.
So yeah, so like initially when I joined Ultimate Golf, I was the only girl, and now we have so many. Like we have more girls than that's why I'm super excited to see the future because if I've seen one place go from me being the only girl to now having like boys in minority, and this is golf specific. Like imagine all the other places in India, every nook and corner. Like there are gems coming up. Even in the Ultimate Foundation, you look at these girls and you're just so excited because they're like 2, 3 months into their training and they're already shooting like low numbers in 9 holes. It's a given, but like it's within a few months. So I know I've seen it firsthand. There's a lot of these girls out there that are doing this day in, day out.
So Neha and Shweta, obviously, had it not been for family support, both of you wouldn't have come this far. So,
Right.
but when you see, I mean, on tour, do you see that this is kind of a uniform pattern that all the girls on tour have solid family backing, or they are people who are kind of, swimming against the tide? Uh, just personal grit that, okay, come what may, I have to achieve my goal.
I think a lot of them are, like have really good family support. Most of the kids on tour and like even like my age girls, I think all of us are blessed to, have them by our side. And I think that in itself is a message to every other, you know, kid, amateur, junior, that, if like to their parents, especially, that if they can do it, and I've touched 30 now. I mean, my parents are really supportive. So, I mean, if we guys can do it, then, they should be able to come on tour and make our tour grow bigger and better.
No, I guess for you also, things have got a little easier because you're married to a sportsman as well.
Yeah,
That's like so
yeah,
contradicting of like the whole Women's Day thing.
that's true.
Like that
So,
No,
I
that's
mean,
it's
it's
no,
not
it's
just
not about
about,
that. It, it's about the understanding.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
about the understanding.
yeah, I think, it's really good to have the support from both the sides. And
Mhm.
I think I'm really lucky that way.
Shweta,
but
anything to
I
add to
wish
that?
I mean, I hope that our tour will be able to sustain people who don't have support as well, because that means we've made it. If somebody can come out on their
That's true.
own and live their dream, because I don't want the fact that they don't have support be the only thing that's stopping them from becoming a professional golfer and living their dream.
Well, that is debatable, but yes, in an ideal situation, yes.
Yeah,
But
utopia.
But quickly, I guess, running out of time, quickly, both of you, Neha and Shweta, in an ideal situation, what is that one thing you would like to, see change in a sporting scenario?
I feel the support of the organizations, not just the one that you're a part of, but I'm talking with respect to, in a bigger fashion, also the government. I think just the big, the acceptance of us, and then, support. I think, and respect on top of that. Like, that's the thing that we're really looking for.
Yeah.
Yes, Shweta?
I mean, Neha's put it in such great words. I don't know how to follow up. I mean,
That is why
I
she's a veteran.
I'm very straight to the point, and I would have just simply said money. She's put it together pretty well. So I think
Thank you.
what Neha said, respect and money.
No, money
That's
is
what's gonna.
important. I mean, there's no, no,
Money is
no,
very
no
important.
point in being ashamed about it.
Like, so that's money, respect, support. That's the key.
Right. Thank you for your time. And
Thank
both of
you.
you are turning up for the next two legs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us.
Thank
All the
you.
very best.
Thank
And
you, sir.
and very
Wishing
cliche,
everyone a happy
but
Women's Day.
happy Women's Day. Yes, wishing you both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you. See you.
Thanks. Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye.